First of all, game week, and a big ball game as we enter back into the mountainside play. First of all, I don't know if anybody saw where Logan Wilson was named one of the 12 finalists for the Butkus Award. You know, it's great to see one of our players with that kind of notoriety, and I'm sure a lot of you know Logan. There's not a better humble guy who doesn't toot his own horn, and it's also encouraging. Here's a guy that's from Casper, Wyoming, and if I had a quarter for every time some of my colleagues around the country told me that you can't win with Wyoming players, the facts are you can't win without him. I'd be a rich man right now. So congratulations for Logan. I want to make a couple announcements. First of all, Tyler Vanderwall will start and return back to his starting position. Sean Chambers will be out for the rest of the year. And so I want to make a note of that. I know that's certainly newsworthy. We were hoping for the best, but once the doctors got in, they found that they needed to do some repair. The outlook long-term is very optimistic, though, so we're encouraged about that. We will see a return of Zach Watts, so we're excited about that. How much and how functional he is this week, we'll know. And then also, I probably misspoke a couple weeks ago when I said Alonzo Velasquez will be out. Got some encouraging news on him, and he will be returning back. He'll do some work this week. I don't know if he'll be ready for play this week, but certainly will be in position to finish out the season. So, we utilize the bye week well. At this time of the year, a lot of our recruiting had already been done, so our coaches were around. We mixed in some fundamental work, and then certainly getting ready for, a really good Boise football team. And then we got recouped up a little bit, which is encouraging. So we're excited about playing. I think the game certainly has ramifications in the Mountain West Conference. And I always say that people remember November. And it's certainly great to be playing meaningful games as we're in November now. A little bit about Boise State. They're playing really well at a high level right now. Bachmeyer came back against San Jose. He's just an exceptional quarterback. One of our players on our team, Jordan Murray, was his teammate in high school. He was a heavily recruited player, and I can see why. He makes all the throws. I'm impressed for a freshman with his composure. Brian Harson's a former quarterback, and while he's not, doesn't coach the quarterbacks anymore, I can certainly see Brian's influence there. Boise has a long history of having good quarterbacks, and this guy's got a really bright future. He's mobile, he can make all the throws, and he's got great poise. So they've got a great group of receivers. They spread the ball around to Shakir, Hightower, Thomas, and a whole host of other ones. And then, they've got a really good running game. And so big, strong offensive linemen. I looked through their profiles, with the offensive line, you watch them on tape, and you recognize you've been seeing these guys around for a while. They have 3 redshirt seniors and another redshirt junior. So you've got some older guys in the trenches, and we've got some guys, they're shaven, and we aren't. And so it'll be a big challenge for us there. On defense, Curtis Weaver, number 99, is an excellent player. Great pass rusher, good front man. Avery Williams is not only a great corner, but he's an outstanding return guy. He had a big punt return against San Jose, and I thought Boise showed a lot of resolve in that game. Certainly was not easy. San Jose's an improved football team, and their quarterback's playing well at this time. So the makings of a great game. We're excited about it. I understand that Boise's got new turf, so it's blue, but I'm just happy it's new turf. I voiced some complaints, and they probably didn't listen to me a whole lot, but we do have some new turf. So we're excited about playing. It'll be a nationally televised game on ESPN Saturday night, so a lot on the line at this time. Questions? Yes.
Craig, what was the official diagnosis on Sean's knee?
You know what? There's obviously I'm not a doctor, but there was some minor cartilage that needed to be repaired. There was no ligament damage, and so in fact during that time, he just felt tight in the second half, and we didn't feel like he could be real productive. And so once they got in there and started saying, okay, let's repair it now and make sure there's no other collateral damage.
So is it no meniscus, anything? Is it just?
No, God dang it. You guys sound like you went to Holiday Inn Express with that commercial or whatever. No.
Okay.
Nope. Anything else? Any ACL, MCL, high blood pressure?
Just clarifying.
Okay.
Coach, where are you at with Titus right now in terms of his?
He's
timetable?
probably about 3 weeks out.
Okay.
His recovery's been good. He'll get checked up during the course of this week. Okay, is that about it?
I wanted to ask you about playing on the blue. I know that
Mhm.
Rocky Long has before said that the mystique of playing on the blue is gone. I know they've lost more games there recently, but what is it like playing on that field?
Well, the last time I went out there, they were all in all blue, so it's kind of hard to see those guys. I applaud them. That's kind of their nature. It's a heck of a lot better in Eastern Washington. Has a red turf. I felt like I'd gone to the optometrist. I couldn't see anything because it was all red. It's a turf. I know they take, first of all, have a great deal of respect for Brian and Harson. He's a former player there, an outstanding program, and they play really hard, and their record at home is good. So for me to make any disparaging remarks about the blue turf, I think is pretty counterproductive. We're enjoying this competition. Players, a lot of our players know each other, and so it will be a spirited competition. So whatever turf, I would rather have all our colleges be on green, but that's me. I'm a traditionalist, so I'll let everything else be said. Rocky can say what he wants to say. More power to Rocky. Yes.
I know you guys have said you have a lot of confidence in Tyler,
Mhm.
but what's going to change, I guess, if anything, about this offense going forward with Tyler Anderson?
Well, every quarterback's a little bit different, but the playbook is not going to change a whole lot. Both guys have operated at a high level. Tyler really played well when he has been, and particularly last year against Air Force. I thought he had a phenomenal game, and so we're excited about Tyler. And I told him I was going to announce him today, and so it'll be fun. He's been working well in practice, and he's an experienced player. He's certainly more experienced than what he was last year at this time. Yes.
What do you see with Levi? Do you see him getting into the game, or is he just there as a protection?
I don't have a crystal ball, but he certainly is moving up the depth chart, and so he's taking meaningful reps in practice. He's a guy that initially had signed with the University of Houston, and so we got a waiver, and he's here. We love to have him. He's a young freshman. He does some really good things. He still does some freshman mistakes, but we'll see how this week of practice goes. Our plan right now is to play Tyler the majority of the game, if not the whole game. Yes.
Coach, I know it's not an ideal situation, but you did have the bye week. Did that help get you a little extra preparation with Tyler, or when did you find out exactly?
Well, Sean hadn't practiced. I know we're one of the few schools that allows media to come for the first 30 minutes of practice, and so guys kind of knew we hadn't been having Sean in practice. So Tyler had secured more reps during the course of last week, and then when the tail end of the week came in, he got more repetitions, obviously, and so it certainly helps. One of the things is when you're the backup quarterback, you get some repetition. Every school is different. We don't split reps, so the lion's share of the reps go to the guy who's starting, and so Tyler's received a lot more reps, and his throws are a little bit more on time, and so we're encouraged about that. Yes.
Coach, is there something to be said for the fact that Tyler played against Boise last year and kind of knows their type of game and what to expect?
Well, I think anytime you have game experience, that's very helpful, and I also think during that game, Boise got after us last year at home. And they're a good team last year. They're a good team this year. We think we're an improved football team, and certainly Tyler's experience last year is going to help, not only against other opponents, but specifically against Boise.
Obviously, a lot of talk is on Hank Bachmeier and the things that he's done as a true freshman. But what have you seen from the running game? I know that the true freshman, George Holani, has kind of stepped up in recent weeks. What have you kind of seen from them on the ground?
Holani and Mahoma are both, they've got a great 1-2 punch, and I think you've got to credit their offensive line. Their running game is, I think, really efficient. The guys read schemes really well, find creases. They got elements of zone game, and then they have elements of power game and all the things that really stress the defense. And they're very, very capable. I know Holani was heavily recruited. I think he's a Los Angeles guy, and Mahomes. But they run the ball really well, and so you've got a real challenge. You've got excellent receivers. You've got Brockmeyer who's throwing the ball well. I think he's really an excellent quarterback. And then you've got a good running game. That poses some challenges. However, I think we're playing good defense this year, and we're tackling well. We're establishing line of scrimmage, and this is going to be a great matchup. Yes,
So,
Davis.
Wyoming's never gone Boise and won. You guys, both of your losses this year have come on the road. Is there
Well, let's just take another glass of water and throw it right on top of my head, Davis.
Is there
damn.
Is there a formula? Is there what you have to
We
do to
no
go
we
there and win?
I think we got to play really well, and some of those things are about controlling the things that we can control, executing, certainly getting the ball takeaways. We've been a pretty opportunistic defense. I think takeaways will be important, and then for us to secure the ball. Right now, I believe I was checking stats. I think we're fourth in the country as far as not turning the ball over. I think our takeaway margins, turnover margins, well, that's going to be a key to it. And also just recognize we got to do what we do and go out and play fast and play really well. There's no doubt. I mean, they're in the top 25. I rated them in the top 25. They should be there, but it's a great opportunity for us. I know our coaching staff and our players are excited. I'm personally excited about it.
You mentioned Curtis Weaver briefly. He's been a force since he got there as a true freshman. What is it about him that makes him special? Can you compare him to anybody?
It's hard for me to compare a guy because he's got great size and explosion. I think he's 265 pounds. So he's a big rascal out there, plays really aggressive, comes off the edge. He can control the line of scrimmage, and he's got good instincts, and those are all elements to a great defensive player. And so they utilize him well. I will say, I know that their defensive coordinator has now moved on to Oregon, the pass guy, and it's not like they've missed a beat. When you watch them on tape, and I'm a defensive guy, they play really sound. They're aggressive, but they're assignment bound. You don't see guys out of position. You see them run to the football really well, and they tackle really well. And Weaver's one of the guys that kind of leads them. Yes.
Kind of goofy, but did you guys gain any confidence going up there and winning on the blue turf against Central Michigan? Does it,
No.
making that trip there? And
No, that didn't have anything to do with the cost of butter, I don't think. It's different turf right now. So I know I complained to I complained to Brian. Brian said, I feel the same way. He said, tell our AD about it. So they must have found some money. They, put out some cans and said alms to the poor, and they've got some new turf. I'm going to get myself in hot water here. But it's a first-class program, and they want to have blue turf, but beating Central Michigan on it really doesn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, it was a goofy question. Yes.
Craig, you and both Shaw just talked about the fact that you don't want to change the physicality of his running style.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the second time in as many years he's had a season-ending injury. Is that something you have to reassess going forward? How often you expose him? Just sort of balancing that?
I've thought about that quite a bit, Davis, because I told him you are who you are, and you've got to play like you play, and then you kind of take a look at how many times he's taken some shots. I do think it's in his DNA to be a competitive guy. We'll look at it once he comes back, first of all, to see what kind of recovery he has. But to change a lot of the things that really make him special, I think we'd be doing a disservice to him and our program. And so whether that means how we reshape some things or what we do with him, that's a off-season conversation. But I think the question you have is very fair because, believe me, I've been asking that to myself. When you see last year he played 4 games, and this year I don't know how many games we played, 8, and he hasn't been able to finish. But he's an ultra-competitive guy. Our team feeds off that, and so you don't want to lose that. Yes, Dennis.
He was averaging right at around 11 carries a game. Is that, in your mind, too much? Is that right? Or
probably a little bit too much. We used to, Josh Allen used to be able to run the ball well too. Yeah. And we were under that. But some of the things that he's doing, he's taken off on bootleg plays, scrambles, and those things you don't want to cap it. But he's got to be, I think there's got to be sometimes, I've always told him don't slide, but we probably need to slide a little bit more. Maybe sometimes as opposed to twisting and turning and try to, you've got a first down that's, 8 yards away, maybe not have him try to just, okay, you got tackled. But it is hard for me to see a quarterback run out of bounds. Hard for me to have a guy do that. But I think I've got to take a look at that. Maybe I got to change. Okay, I know that we have some people online. Is there any questions from anybody that's online right now? Okay, I know there were listeners, but no questions. Hey, you want to say thanks to everybody?
Coach Bohl?
Yes, who am I speaking
Bob
with?
Beeler from Boise Radio.
Hey, Bob, good hearing from you again.
Good. A couple questions I had. One was you guys have given up just 2.8 yards per carry on the ground on defense. What makes your team good against the run?
Well, a lot of that starts up front, Bob, and kind of like Boise, we have a new defensive coordinator. Jake Dickert's done a really good job, and our front's playing well, and the linebackers, when you have a guy that's like Logan Wilson and Cash Malawi, both those two guys and Elijah Halliburton are really excellent tacklers. So when you can establish line of scrimmage, you can come up with some tackles for loss, but that front group has really played well, and they are disciplined. I think we're playing excellent defense, and anytime you can stop the run, you make somebody throw, typically that's a good thing for you.
And what do you see as being different without Rippon and Madison this year? You lose two guys from Boise State's offense that are now both in the pros.
Yeah.
How have you seen them kind of maybe change a little, be the same? What are your impressions?
I think every year you tweak an offense to the personnel you have, but you don't see I don't see a drastic change. Boise's, their offense is very creative. It stresses you on defense. It stresses what they can do because of the weapons they have, and quite frankly, I think it's a real credit to Brian for him to be able to bring in that kind of talent year after year, because these guys they have are excellent young players. They're going to be there for a long time. That's got me gnashing my teeth. I have no hair, but if I had any hair, it'd be gone. But kudos to them. I think they're an excellent offense.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet. Great hearing from you again. Okay, Keith, any other questions? Okay, media, it's great to see you. I know our players are going to be coming in. It's game week, and they say remember November.